What is up, everyone? I hope everyone has had an amazing summer thus far, and I just wanted to share something with you all. So, this past summer, I've been working on a little race catalog, and it is basically covering all 50 states plus some foreign countries, and it is a marathon for every single state. I organized this list in 4 categories. So obviously each one is split up by state, and then you have priority, top choice, second choice, and third choice. So there's usually for I think only maybe 1 or 2 states, there's only one option, but almost every single state has multiple options between 3 and 5. And for certain states, those are my top picks and my favorite marathons out of all of them. So about 10 to 15 states I listed as priority, as in I want to do these earlier in my running career in life than later. God forbid, life happens and you miss the chance. So to compile this list, I use about 3 or 4 websites, those of which are called Refresh Row, which covered about, I think, 15 to 20 states. And it is created by Ro Brown, who is a marathon runner, and he's ran in about, like I said, 15 to 25 of these states, and he's given his reviews. Secondly, Vacation Marathons. I wanted to knock out 2 goals in one, so I picked a lot of marathons that were in national parks across America, since I've never been to any national parks, and they are so beautiful. Third is Race Raves, and fourth is Rock and Roll. So Rock and Roll is basically another company who's very well organized, and they host races both here and abroad, and they target really a lot of half marathons in major cities, like I said, like Las Vegas or like Madrid in Spain. So they're another really cool resource. So compiling this list, I made all 50 states, as we can see as I scroll through, 1 through 50 in alphabetical order, right? Secondly, registration. So I then organize these because I like to plan and I like to organize, and I just like to have everything nice and clear so when the time comes, I can bang it out and kind of schedule a lot easier, because I'm heading into a new phase of my life where I'm going to be working a full-time job, and I'm going to have to really kind of balance, hey, I have 2 or 3 days off. Screw it. Let's go to Arizona for the weekend and run this damn race. So these are organized now by registration and by month. So January to December for registration, and then same thing but for the actual race days. Scrolling near the bottom of this list, we have our international marathons. So I compiled a few more. These are from different websites that I use for international marathons. So I have Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece, Germany, Switzerland, Scotland, England, Ireland, Turkey, Japan, China, Cambodia, Bhutan, Taiwan, Indonesia, Australia, and Peru. And now lastly, to mix them together, my overarching goal besides running, hey, an ambitious one is really 50 states, but the overarching one that I really, really, really want to complete is all the world marathons. These are in New York, Boston, Chicago, Tokyo, Berlin, London, and Sydney, Australia. So that is another big goal that I would love to hit. What inspired me to do this? Well, one, extremely bored during finals week last spring. And so, starting off this list, I'm going to go over my prioritized races and share them with you. So, starting off, Arizona. I picked the Antelope Canyon Half or Ultra. I would get into either one, and depending on my training, I would choose the distance. But I would love to prioritize doing an Ultra over just a half marathon or even a marathon. So this offers a 50 mile, a 55K, and a 30K, which obviously all translate to different mileage. So this is the Vacation Races website, and as you can see, I'll scroll through. They have some photos from that race, and they also show, I'm going to click their homepage, all the other national parks they have, and it's really, really cool looking. Going now to our West Coast, we got California. California had many, many races. Did I know which one to pick right away? Definitely not. But as a city kid, I really thought about this, and I was like, you know what? I've been to San Francisco. I've driven through LA, and I'm from New York. So I went there on vacation once, and I was like, I mean, every city is realistically, they all have their inner beauty, I'm sure, but they're all just cities. There's nothing like good old nature. So I chose the Big Sur International Marathon. I chose this race because a lot of the race is near or on a road, on a coast, but you really also get to experience a very cool part of the race where you are over this bridge and it's just an amazing view and an amazing race from what it seems. The elevation is also pretty good. And again, I'm not choosing these races based on, oh, this one's easy, this one's an easy one to qualify for the Boston Marathon, blah, 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 elevation, mileage. No, I want a good time. I want scenery. I want something very unique. Before we go any further, why did I choose to do this? Not only was I bored over finals week, but I saw this guy named Wyatt Moss. Wyatt Moss basically blew up because he ran 50 marathons in 50 different states in 50 days. Then this past year, he did 7 marathons in 7 days across 7 continents, which is a lot more expensive, actually. He just had a hell of a journey. But I really want to roll with unique experiences, which is why I'm also planning. And I want to enjoy it, even if it takes me more than obviously 50 days, which it obviously will. I want to do it within a few years. And no matter what, it's hell of a dad lore. So that's my bigger inspiration for why I even thought about this, and kind of where my goals were inspired from. So shout out Wyatt Moss for that. Scrolling through a few states, we go down to Florida. Now, we had to choose Miami or the famous Walt Disney. So the Walt Disney Marathon has really awesome medals every single year. But looking through the course map and looking at other people's experiences, it seems like a very boring course. The park itself is only so big, and you don't really run through the park as much. You kind of run through the roads that go through the park, if that makes any sense. And it seems just kind of bleak. So I want to run the Miami Marathon, which is, again, somewhat coastal, going to be very hot no matter the time of year. And it just seems like a really awesome marathon. And yeah, so that is why I chose that over Walt Disney. But I would honestly be fine with either one. Now we're leaving our mainland and we're at Hawaii. So out of all of these, I chose the Kauai Marathon because a lot of these were kind of just roadside. And the Kauai also mixed in a little bit of trail into it. And I thought that was very unique. So that is why I chose this one. But again, I would honestly be down to do any of these amazing races. Back on the mainland and into the Midwest, we have the TCS Chicago Marathon. This is a little bit easier to get into than the Boston Marathon as far as availability and not just obviously hitting a time goal. But yeah, any of the TCS races are taking priority as they are part of that biggest goal of running all the world marathons. The Quad Cities is a really awesome opportunity, though. Scrolling through a little bit more, now we're back on the East Coast, and we are at another TCS race, the Boston Marathon. This one's going to take a lot of training, and I would hopefully get there within the next 4 years. I really am going to be ambitious with that, and 4 years is a lot of time. Yeah, and I'm starting from the very bottom this past year, and I've made a hell of a lot of progress, but there's a lot of training that goes into going, into a marathon, which I haven't ran a marathon distance before, let alone going sub 3. So, yeah, that's my time goal, kind of hitting or getting into the Boston Marathon. Now into our beautiful state of Montana, we have the Glacier Half Marathon, and this kind of enters our second national park, the Glacier. I mean, if you literally just look at this, it just looks so beautiful. I'm a huge fan of nature and scenery and all that. So, I mean, this was a no-brainer. Back to my home state, New York. We're planning on running the New York City Marathon, within the next year. That's scheduled for November once I complete the 9+1 this year. Going upstate to Pennsylvania, we have 2 gold races. Why is that? So both of them are in Philly. One of them's a half. And I honestly am choosing the race kind of based off the Rocky statue. So Philadelphia Marathon, I know passes through a lot of historical stuff, and I think it passes through the Rocky one. So I kept it in there for the maybe that it does. However, the Rocky Run Half Marathon guarantees it, and even though it's just a half, you get a really cool medal, and it's kind of guaranteed because I'm pretty sure you end at the Rocky statue. Going a little more north, funny enough, we got south. So South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, I think is already a very underrated historical spot, or even just like a vacation drive-through spot. But to be able to run to that location just seems pretty epic. You know, and again, not only are these vacation races, they have awesome locations and a really good way to launch the race, but you have pretty sick medals too. You know, they look pretty damn quality. And those are from 2019, so I'm sure they're just getting better and better and better as the running community gets, you know, more popular. So, yeah, some awesome views just from even these little photos. Now down to Tennessee, we have 2 options. We have a national park, but we also have Nashville. So, again, rock and roll kind of targets those inner city areas, but I'm going to try to stay with the national parks as much as I can. And these are the Great Smoky Mountains. So you have some photos here, and a little bit less scenic, but still pretty quality nonetheless. The course has a good bit of elevation, I'm sure, as well. 439 feet isn't too insane, especially for a half. But you go through a couple mountains, and yeah, just a pretty cool one to knock off the list. Now going right down south, hidden Devara State, we have Texas. So Texas has a bunch of options because a big state with a bunch of big cities. But I chose the BPN Austin Half Marathon. I chose this because of BPN. While I would love to run in Houston or Fort Worth even, Dallas or San Antonio, all of which are great cities, Austin is kind of calling my name here because I know their running community is probably one of the stronger ones out of all those cities, and probably one of the strongest cities for running in America. Secondly, I am a huge fan of Nick Bare and the BPN brand and what they've, you know, accomplished. So, you know, I would love to earn some BPN gear, and, you know, kind of be a part of that community. No, I wouldn't wear the fun glasses that all the little New Yorkers wear with the red BPN cap and run a 10-minute mile. Not hating on anyone because I'm still running 10-minute miles. But yeah, so that is why I would choose the Austin Half Marathon. I'm not going to click on it. We're just going to keep running through. Utah, we got the Mount Zion Trail half or ultra marathon. Again, depending on the training, depending on what I can afford at that time, would, you know, kind of vary on, hey, what distance am I running? But this is the Zion Mountains, really cool trails, and yeah, a little loop there. So now scrolling down to our last priority race, we have Washington. Now this is not Washington, D.C. This is Washington all the way on the West Coast. I think this would be an awesome, awesome race. Probably top 2 out of all the national park ones that you could race, just because it is one of our bigger national parks. And yeah, I mean, you can just look at even a couple of these photos. You can see the elevation and the course that you would get. They have the 5Ks. They have the half marathon. I mean, yeah, absolutely insane race and experience. And it's a very downhill, actually. So this would be, if this was a marathon, I mean, hey, that would be a great way to get into the Boston. But yeah, that concludes my priority races. Again, if you want to take a look at any of the 50 states or any 15 countries that I have on here, feel free to. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I'm going to link this in our description. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're still here, thank you for watching.
You just have to endure.